Afternoon, folks. I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm just doing a little bit of a shop talk here. I've heard a couple different topics that I wanted to touch on. Main reason why I'm doing this today is I will be out of town for about a week and upcoming. I have a funeral to attend and won't be around, so usually, I'm in a film collection mode at that point in time, and I won't be here. So my son will still be at the house and all my stuff will still be guarded. Don't be thinking anything wicky or anything weird. But, and of course, all of our 6 dogs are staying this time. So if you want to tangle with them, that's your business. Anyway, the real reason I'm here is for a shop talk because I ran across a subject area, and this one kind of bugs me because I see this a lot. And it's a touchy subject, but it's one that I disagreed with the conclusions of the persons that went out and made their recommendation. The person asked whether or not they should use their battery tender 24/7, or question, or how should it be used. You got a response where it indicated one person said that they use the battery tender 24/7 whenever the bike is parked, year-round, all the time. And they've never had a battery fail. It had lasted X amount of years, well over 4. And they've even sold those X amount of year-old bikes with the original batteries. I got a couple different things with that. When I'm shopping at one, and I'm going to start in on it right away. Number one, when I'm shopping a 7-year-old bike, and in all my wisdom and knowledge, when I've done that, the first thing I'm going to check is under the seat. Why? Because I do not want to see a factory battery. No, I want to see a replacement battery. I want to see that somebody recognizes that AGMs, no matter what, last 4 years. Doesn't matter if they're tended, doesn't matter if they're treated like that on a trickle charger, however you want to put it. AGM holds its chemical reaction in the mats for about 4 years. And then things start to break down. The acids change, the acidity levels change, the things that make the electrons happen, it's all a wear process, if you follow me. The electrons being stripped from active material and then being recharged at a later date by a system. Those types of systems start to break down at 4 years. I don't care if you've tended them, I don't care what you've done to them. Now, if you're on a vehicle that has had a constant battery tender on it for that time, and you're running back and forth to the store for 7 years, you can get away with that because you're never really running the trike or the bike. But as soon as you get out in a situation like if you ride on a road trip and you're at a hotel and they don't have plug-ins, you're just in a parking lot. Next morning you go start your bike, that 7-year-old battery is not going to start. Secondly, it's also going to lose charge after several hours of running as it heats up and drain itself and leave you dead. Don't permanently 24/7 train your batteries to be at constant charge. The 4-year cycle is a good guideline, but there is a reason why your battery tends to die when it gets older. That's to tell you to replace it. Batteries need to be recycled. They're an ecological nightmare, for one. Secondly, they need to be, and because of this, I should say, they need to be handled responsibly. They need to be regularly regenerated. Even AGMs. And the lithiums are no better. They catch fire. Especially if you leave a battery tender on them. They will. That's a good way to burn down your house. Battery tenders are designed and intended for colder weather environments, where the temperatures are down below 32 degrees, where you may still be riding the vehicle from time to time, where it has the weaker batteries. Now, that's like North Dakota when you still ride motorcycle at 40 degrees. You want to make sure that the motorcycle's on the battery tender, especially if you're going to be at a hotel and it's going to get down to 20 that night. Because you want to make sure that battery's fresh in the morning, in the cold, and at its maximum cold cranking units. But in hot weather, hot weather is the exact same as cold. Extreme heat does more damage to a battery than cold weather does, in my honest opinion. I say because I live in the desert now. And because you can honestly tell on my charging system when I've been riding 6 to 7 hours and it's a new charging system, I get at most out of it 13.8 volts because the battery's hot. That's all it'll take. When it's cold, it holds 14.2. So that factors in as well. So where your cold weather may leave you stranded, your hot weather can leave you stranded as well. And that also means, especially if you add features to the trike, extras, you don't know about wiring, you don't know about load balancing or that type of thing for your accessories, then when you get into a situation where you've been on the road for 3-4 hours and you drain that battery below 13.5 volts on this trike, you know what that means? You're walking at 13.4 volts. This is a CAN bus based system, very much controlled by the ECU, and when it does not sense more than 13.5 volts, you're done. They won't start, they'll spin. All the problems that you see, these intermittent problems, come up when people keep a battery on a battery tender, think that that qualifies them as having the battery always being in perfect condition because it's tended. No, it's been active the whole time. You've actually caused it damage. A battery regenerates itself and should basically become attuned to the charging system that it's on and recharge to certain levels. And the regulator rectifier maintains that balance. That's where that all happens. And a healthy regulator rectifier and charging system with a healthy, especially ABS matted battery, should keep you running in normal temperatures. Like I said, your battery tenders are for cooler or even extreme hot weather where you need a bit of a jump if your batteries are sitting in 120-degree heat. So, I would not put them on there 24/7. If you're in a normal operating environment, you keep your battery systems running the way that they are. When your battery becomes unhealthy, then it will start to tell you. It will start to misbehave. Masking it over with the constant use of a battery tender is only going to leave you stranded in the middle of nowhere about 30 minutes to 3 hours after you've done that, if you keep a battery for 6 to 7 years. So, what I recommend is that people always put one of these guys on, a voltmeter. When you're running at 14 and above volts on a motorcycle, you're good. You're golden. Your battery's good and your charging system's good. When you start to see it fall during idle or during operation, I should say, to like 13.8, 13.7, you should start to be concerned. That's an indication that your battery is not recharging as quickly as it should. And if it continues to drop slowly over the ride over a couple of hours, you've definitely got a battery that's definitely wearing out. Or you have issues with the charging system. So you're going to have to do one of two things. You're going to have to test your battery, and you need to know the procedures for that. That's another video. Or you're going to have to test your charging system, and there's a procedure for that. Both are very easy to do. Both are also very easily accomplished by making sure every motorcyclist has one of these. An electronic digital multimeter. I don't care if it's $6 at Walmart. Get one. Not the digitals, or not the analog. You want the digital. And at least 2 decimal points on your charging scale. A quality one. But that one's $30 at O'Reilly. But that has lasted me 7 years. And it still works. So what you need to do is regularly test your charging system to see that you're putting out above 13.5 volts. Especially on these creatures. You want to be closer to 14. Like I said, going down the road, I run anywhere from 13.8 when it's 110 degrees out to 14.2 when it's cooler. So the weather does affect it. And the big thing with battery maintenance is you have to understand, you buy a quality battery, quality AGM product, and you follow its recommended guidelines. I use that yellow Moto bat line, the big yellow battery. And they tell you in the paperwork that this battery's good for 4 years. Guess what I do at 4 years? I go get another one. It's called maintenance. You take the core, you bring it in, you bring the new one in, make sure it's charged and ready to go and properly boosted on a battery charger before you put it in the bike or trike or whatever. Start your trike and go. Your charging system should readily regenerate your battery if your battery is healthy and aged properly, and if your charging system is emitting the proper amounts of volts. Now I'll go into the details of testing the charging systems later on, but for today I wanted to advise you that if you're receiving advice to leave your bike on a 24/7 connection with your battery tender, you're going to end up walking, especially if you stretch it to 7 years. Let your battery be charged by your system. It allows your system to train your battery. It allows your system to learn your battery's voltages and your ECU to be able to control that in a coordinated effort. If you're constantly running it on a battery tender, you're always at the most constant voltage available to that battery. But you're also running voltage through it at all times, which draws on the liquids over time, which dries out cells, which leads to merged cells, which kills the battery. So in my honest opinion, unless you're not below 45 degrees, if you've got a healthy charging system, you don't need your battery tender. You don't. Don't listen to that advice. I'm telling you, it's happened to me. You'll end up walking and you'll regret it. Have a good day. Peace.